So here we go.
Whoa! Whoa! Whoa!
Crazy. That is nuts.
Good evening and welcome to Weird Tales and the Unexplainable, a podcast dedicated to weird, paranormal, spiritual, scientific stories. I'm Beef. With me, as always, is
Bob Shoy
and
Tiss.
lovely stuff. So, guys, do you want to do a little recap of what we did last episode?
weird media stuff.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah,
That's all I've got to say about it.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, someone did send me. They said check out this documentary because I was on Reddit and they were saying, does anyone actually even believe the Paul is dead thing?
Oh,
and
yeah.
obviously there are people that believe the Paul is dead thing, but they said watch this documentary. It's well worth having a watch. I haven't watched it yet, but I'm going to. I think it's called Paul Really Is Dead.
Okay.
Wow. So I think I'm going to watch that.
I need to watch that.
Yeah,
That
maybe we
sounds
should get
awesome.
together and watch it together and we'll report back.
Yeah, that sounds good. We should do it.
Paul really, we'll watch it when we watch The Exorcist, and The Shining, and all the films you said we was going to watch last week.
3 Men and a Baby.
And Three Men and a Baby, of course.
Okay, so those of you who listen every week, which is probably all of you, you'll remember that last week I said I was going to do an episode on miracles. So tell me what you guys understand about miracles are like at the moment.
I didn't look up anything for this episode.
As always.
And I've never heard anyone tell me their own personal miracle experiences.
Cool.
The closest I've come to it are the stories you told me from the Mozambique episode.
Okay.
Which is episode 2, if anyone wants to listen. And that blew my mind. And as far as miracles in general go, I don't really have any contact or experience with them.
No.
If someone says a miracle, do they mean something which they deem to be a spiritual event? Is that what it specifically relates to?
I think so. I think unless you are spiritual, in which case you would like say it was God or something. I guess a miracle is just something you look at and you're like, well, that is incredible,
Like
and
it
it's like
defies the laws of physics.
yeah, it's not like if you look at a paranormal video and it creeps you out. I suppose if you were to see a video, and I've got a couple to share this evening, of something and you can't explain it, but it's like amazing, and it's I can't really explain it. I'll go into more detail. Tiss, what about you?
So my understanding of a miracle is just like you said, something that happens that can't be explained by the laws of our universe.
Yep.
So the Big Bang, that's a miracle.
Yeah.
If it happened, I don't believe it did, but
yeah, I guess so. I guess you could probably argue it's a miracle, yeah.
Because it's unexplainable.
So if I give you a bit of my background on it, I suppose, and what I understand miracles to be. Now, obviously, my viewpoint is going to be fairly biased because I'm a Christian and I come across stuff like this quite often. But also, there's going to be plenty of people out there who aren't Christians but probably witness stuff like you said, and they can't explain it, and it's just like it defies the laws of physics, or it's almost like you'd explain it to be unbelievably good luck, I guess. But
Okay.
from my perspective, if you look at the Bible, Jesus did loads of miracles.
Right.
And
I know that. They're the miracle stories I know as well. I should have said that.
Yeah, they're like, I suppose if you think of miracle, you probably do think of Jesus or God or something.
We talked about the loaves and fishes thing last time. Feeding of the 5,000.
That's the one.
Hey.
That's the one. But Jesus performed loads of miracles. So if you go through the Gospels, so that's John, Mark, Matthew, and Luke. He healed a blind man in John, lepers in Mark, Matthew, and Luke. He paralysed people in Matthew.
Paralysed them.
No, he didn't actually paralyse them, but they were paralysed, and then the miracle was that they were able to walk again. Yeah, sorry, I didn't make that very clear.
Yeah, I was like, what?
It's like
Jesus' dark years. I never knew about this. He was a villain for a while.
teenage Jesus in a bit of a mood. And then all the exorcisms, which Chiss, I know a few weeks ago you said you didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know he did that.
And then other things like turning water into wine, walking on water, and then feeding 5,000. That's the last one I put. There's two types of Christians. One, they believe that miracles just stopped. So when Jesus died, and then where they were the apostles after him, who were his disciples, the Bible, they carried on performing miracles after Jesus, which the Bible says that would happen. But there are people that don't believe they carried on.
Do they believe that we weren't worthy of them after a certain time?
Kind of. I think it was more just that. Yeah, I think so. I think it's just that Jesus was is the Son of God, and I guess they thought why would we have a need to have them? And then the other group, which is that's the group I'm in, I suppose, is that people still see them and they're used today. So I'm going to crack straight into it. I've got about 5 or 6 different stories to tell you guys.
Okay, sounds good.
So if you Google miracles, there's so much stuff out there. There's loads and loads of videos, loads of stories, loads of if you go onto particularly church, American big church websites, loads of them keep on their websites stories of stuff they've seen in their church. I'm not saying I don't believe them, but I'm not going to talk about them because I haven't witnessed them. I can't verify it. I can't. All I can do is tell you the stuff I've seen, and you can do with it what you want.
Oh, okay. So these are first-hand.
These are first-hand. Well, there's one that wasn't. There's one that my wife saw, so I didn't. But
it's heating up. I thought it was going to be some weird tales you found online. This is
well, some of it I have got some weird stuff online. But yeah, these ones are stuff I've actually witnessed.
Okay, this sounds good.
So the first one, I can't actually remember if I did this in the Mozambique story. So if I did, we can just cut it out.
In Mozambique, you talked about the truck tipping, and the food not emptying.
Thought so. Okay, there's one more that I left out because I was pretty sure I would use it in this week. So when I was in Mozambique, we would go and you'd feed people and give them medical attention and stuff like that. And then after that, we would pray for people and just basically ask God to do the stuff that we read about in the Bible, as we believe it still happens. And there's this guy who came to me, and I had the interpreter. It was the same weekend that I met the witch doctor. And I had the interpreter with me. We came with this chap, and he didn't even need to tell me what was wrong. I could see that he was blind. Mm-hmm. His eyes were just white. I don't know if I don't know. That sounds like a weird thing to say, but when you see blind people, their eyes have no pigment in them.
Sometimes.
So not all the
I know what you mean though. When it's sort of cloudy. Yeah,
and it's you can see their eye and you can see a little bit of detail, but it's cloudy.
Is that a specific type of blindness, or is that just what
I
happens?
don't know. I don't know.
Because my dad's blind in his left eye, but that's not.
Oh, is he?
But maybe.
Yeah, sometimes
maybe
it's.
If you're born without it, maybe you don't need it. Maybe you don't create it. I don't know.
Matt Murdock in Daredevil.
I'd love to know the science.
I don't know if it's I don't know. I really don't know.
It's not even the miracle, is it? It's just the eyes. Sorry.
No, but it was quite clear to me that he he was blind. And obviously, I'll be honest, as you can tell from me telling you this story, it sounds mental. So I was thinking that in my mind, but I thought, well, I've said I'm going to pray for him now, so I better do it. And I hadn't even really started praying before I could. I watched. It was like when the only way I can explain it is when you're on Paint on Microsoft on the PC.
Yeah.
And you know when you can like autofill stuff, it was like that. But I could see the colour. I could see like hazel brown coming back into his eyes. And they went like, yeah, all the cloudiness went, and it was as soon as he did it, he looked up and saw me, and he was just like on his knees, like crying uncontrollably because he couldn't believe what happened.
Okay. This is first place my head went, which is actually not about the miracle. Can you imagine seeing after being blind? Like when you say he was like crying, he couldn't believe it. Can you imagine that? Because I can't.
I was watching a video today. Funny you mentioned that. I was watching a video today of children and young adults that had been deaf their whole lives, and then they got access to hearing aids or something.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of their, like, I've got to be honest, it teared me up a bit because I'm watching these videos, and there's one of this baby, and he goes for him, like, he's crying because it's obviously quite uncomfortable because he can't hear anything, and like the doctor's trying to get something in his ear, and all of a sudden he stops, and because he can hear sound again, and like he can hear his mum talking to him, and he starts like laughing.
Yeah, I think I've actually seen this video.
Incredible.
I've seen that. Yeah.
So yeah, I must admit, like, and I watched this guy, yeah, and he fell to pieces, and then he was probably there for about, and he was just looking around. He spent like 10 minutes just looking and like feeling his clothes and looking at his clothes and his hands, and like it was really weird. It was really weird.
Wow.
But pretty incredible.
I'll tell you an interesting. This is something I heard, and I can't get my head around it. Every now and then I think about it, like at work. And apparently, a blind person, when this is like too much to even comprehend, a blind person doesn't just see black; they see nothing.
Yeah.
So how can you even get your head around that concept?
What? So
they don't see black; they see nothing.
So not even just like sheet of white.
No, they see nothing. I can't. Like the idea of seeing nothing is almost impossible to comprehend. I think about it all the time.
That's amazing. See, I couldn't. I suppose it's the same as if you didn't have touch. If you couldn't feel anything,
you would feel nothing.
You wouldn't feel anything. Yeah, it wouldn't be that. It would be like.
Yeah, it's not like, oh, it just feels dull. No, you just don't feel it. So you can imagine just not. I can't imagine not. You think of being blind. You think of just closing your eyes. What it's like. I can't imagine because there's nothing to receive. If you're blind, your brain doesn't receive an image, so you see nothing. It makes me feel so weird when I think about it.
Yeah, it's
again it's like when you tell me the story about the miracle, I'm like, don't even have to respond to that because it's blowing my mind. So my brain goes to like weird stuff about being blind rather than acknowledging the actual miracle itself, which is crazy.
Well, yeah, because you're having to trust that I'm not. But I promise I'm not. Well, you know me. I'm not. I don't. Why would I make that up? Yeah, it was amazing, and
that was when you was in Mozambique.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It was pretty crazy. I started off with an intense one, I'll admit. I'm going to try and pick a fairly less intense one.
Okay.
So you guys know that every year I go to like a Christian festival.
Mm-hmm. You went recently?
Yeah, I got back 2 weeks ago, and the idea basically it's kind of like a Christian version of Glastonbury. It's like a family festival. It's kind of more than music. There's teaching as well as music, and every year I go to work there. I say work like loosely. It's not really work. It's just to keep stuff running whilst you're there. So we work with like teenagers. They have about 1,000 teenagers there that will go into this one venue, and so I work as like venue management, trying to just run that venue, I guess. But in there we have lots of people every year that get prayed for lots of problems and things. And so a few years ago, I was praying for this guy who was an athlete, and he was really, really close to getting sponsored and basically making it onto like Team GB. But he'd been in a car accident and had like chronic back pain for months, and he couldn't bend down and touch his toes, couldn't do anything like that. So he'd said if it's like crunch time. He said if I don't get better soon, I'm not going to be able to get the sponsorship. I'm going to have to just stay at like a semi-professional level. I won't ever be able to break through. But it was like 2 weeks before he'd have to, get, and he was getting physio, but it wasn't doing anything. So I just prayed for him, and it must have been like a couple of minutes, just praying really, and eventually, nothing weird happened, no like crazy stuff. When I finished
he didn't
praying
like
for
start tap dancing.
No. No, he didn't do that.
He moonwalked out the tent.
No, he didn't do that, but he was then able to like bend down and touch his toes, and he then did like high knees and stuff to try and figure it out. And he seemed to be pretty chuffed by that. That's like a more minor one, but it's just an example of sort of stuff that, like, it's that kind of stuff that I see quite regularly.
Okay, so when you say regularly, is there like okay, so if you're in church, I'm imagining how I've seen it in films. You see people hobble up the aisle to be healed.
Not really, not in our church really. That's probably more in charismatic churches.
Right.
But yeah, sometimes you get people who
so people will turn up on like a Sunday service because they're like, I need help.
Yeah, we've got lots of people who come and they don't necessarily believe it, but they've been in like chronic pain for years.
I'm gonna try anything.
They're like, well, I'll just try it out. So I have seen stuff like that. But back pain seems to be quite like a prominent one.
I've got back pain.
Yeah. How bad?
Think about it next time you're at church.
Yeah. Yeah, I will.
And I'll be like, oh, my back pain's better, and you'll be like, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. What
that was me.
yeah.
That was me. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Wasn't anything to do with the deep heat. But that's the thing. That's why it's not really that mind blowing. No one really believes it because medicine's out there. And,
yeah.
But that's what I witnessed at the time, and he wasn't able to do. So he was either lying and not doing it, or he genuinely couldn't do it. I don't know.
Well, then he'd have to lie beforehand and be like, oh yeah, can't do it, like he was a stooge.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what he'd have to gain from that. What are you thinking, Tis? You're just not thinking it.
No, I am. I'm just thinking on it. It's just.
Have you ever been in any sort of like pain or situation where you're like, I need a miracle?
No.
I don't think I've ever been that like hard up.
No.
We've lived a life of luxury.
But I've heard loads of stuff, like not with, I'm not access to Christian sort of stuff, obviously, so I've not heard a lot of those sort of miracles. But the guy who teaches my Tai Chi class does a lot of, I don't know what it's called. It's like energy healing, spirit healing. Is it called something like that? Where it's like he's sensitive to energies.
Oh yeah, where they put their hands around your aura.
Yeah, that's it. He does like a lot of aura reading, but specifically like he says that once you become sensitive to energies and aura, super sensitive, you can start to manipulate those energies and heal them and even pick up on bad energies and see where the pain is and actually try and. Yeah.
What do you think
That's
about
what he said.
energies and energy healing and people having energies?
I've seen auras.
Yeah.
I don't know if that is an aura, but I've seen it.
What have you seen? How would you explain it?
Yeah.
It's just like anyone can see an aura. Like if you stand against that wall, I could teach you how to see an aura right now. It's very easy.
Go on then.
Okay. Well, if I stand against this white wall,
right.
I think it is white walls. It's better actually.
Okay, well that's.
So if I see,
sort of like a cream colour.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I stand against this wall, right? Okay. So if you guys just concentrate on here. If you see anything here in your peripheral, don't look at it. But don't like stare. Just relaxingly look here.
Because if you put your thumb out in front of you as a human being, stretched out, and put your thumb up, if you look at your thumbnail, that is the point of how big your area of focus is. That's why they say you shouldn't text and drive. You shouldn't do something. Right. The amount you can actually focus on with your eyes is about the size of your thumbnail when you put your thumb up and stretch it out, like an actual point of focus, which is about the same size as what I'm staring at on you right now. So if I leave my eyes in that focus position,
make sure you guys are like So,
But relax, yeah?
just relaxingly look. And just keep looking and see if you can see anything, like a thin layer around my body. Takes a few minutes.
Am I allowed to blink?
Yeah, just.
See, I don't know if I'm seeing things because I'm trying to. Is it almost like a film around you?
Film.
Yeah, like cling film. Or we're probably not that far around you, a couple of mil around you all the way around.
Yeah, the best way I can describe it.
Because I did see something like that, but I'm like, is it my eyes because I'm focused?
You have to get more sensitive to see the colours.
Right.
And with more practice, you start seeing colours. But the first time you look, the best way I can describe it is, when you see heat in the air, you'll see that around my body on the outside.
Is it your body heat?
That's my aura.
Is that what's chakra? What's that?
Chakras are your main. I don't know exactly what they are, but
Okay.
I know that they're the colours associated. Like red is here.
You're dead.
Yeah. Well, it's actually.
I have to say what you're pointing at.
Red
because
is
they
actually.
can't see.
It's actually the tailbone, but it's like there.
Okay.
He's pointing
Then
at his
orange is your dantian. Yellow.
He's moving gradually up his body as
Green.
he says this.
Chest.
Blue.
Throat.
Indigo.
Head. Forehead.
Violet.
Top of head.
White.
Above your head.
I think I didn't see anything, but I think I saw like your shadow, and then I couldn't stop thinking about your shadow.
It takes a lot longer than that, and it's a bit more focused.
I would also need to.
Yeah,
surely this light is no good. It's like 9:30 in the evening.
Yeah. Well, no, we do it against like a white background. If you just keep looking,
We do it.
you
Who
start
does
to.
it? You and
At
your
my Tai Chi class, yeah.
How long have you done Tai Chi?
Only a few weeks.
Oh, this is what you've been doing on Wednesdays.
Yeah. But like it's yeah, that's he sort of every now and then we do it, and it's sort of like if you practice it, you can see it. But
Interesting.
whether or not it is a trick of the eye or whether it is an aura, I don't know. But I mean, it's what you believe, isn't it?
There's something like miracles I've heard of, and I know what they are. Energy readings and stuff like that. It just hasn't even ever entered my head.
Stuff like that, and Reiki as well. I know people practice Reiki. I don't know
what
much
Reiki
about
is.
He's in the Lion King. He's the monkey.
Rafiki.
That's Rafiki.
Rafiki.
I'll cut that. Don't worry. But what's Reiki?
Reiki is. That's what I mean. I don't really.
I've heard the name.
I don't really know. It's a type of. I don't know if it's got anything to do with energies. I think it is. I think they try and use your energies to heal you. But it's more about. I think it. I don't know. Write in if you're listening and I'm wrong.
We have computers in front of us.
Yeah, we could Google it, but that takes ages. Let's not do that.
Let's just look ignorant.
But interesting story.
Yeah.
When so the church I've been going to for years. Years ago, we went to before the civic centre.
Can I just ask, have you gone to the same church all your life?
No, not all. No, I've been to the church I'm at now. I've been there for 2.5 years, and then I was at a different church for a few. But yeah, so
yeah, okay.
We went to a New Age thing at the civic centre before it got knocked down.
Right.
And basically, we would go, and people would go there for like spirit readings, and they'd go for like crystal readings and all sorts of stuff. And there was like Reiki, and there was a guy there. We were there, and the idea was that we would like pray for people. And there was one guy who was across from us who got really, really cross because we were messing with his medium. So he had to ask to move because he said, he says, I can't focus. Your medium's messing with my medium, and I can't.
What was his medium?
I can't. This was probably about 8 years ago. So
was this just a convention for all different types of?
Yeah, it was just you got like white witches there.
Oh
and
wow! This is the sort of
It
thing
was
I want
cool.
to go to for the pod.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, they used to do it every year in Aylesbury, and yeah, I just went
I
along
want to
once.
just go around all the stalls and be like,
There's massive ones. There's ones.
Never
There's
knew
loads
this
everywhere.
happened. Wow.
White witches. I'd love to get some weird tales on white witches. Maybe I'll do that in the future.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, I'm really glad that you like shared your Tai Chi stuff, because this is one thing I was gonna kind of own up to us, but I don't really know much about.
You're a Tai Chi master.
No.
You're not going to own up. You could have taught me all this time.
I'm a Padawan learner.
Yeah.
I don't know about crystal readings and stuff.
As soon as someone mentions crystals, and
I'm out.
it may be true,
Yeah.
but I'm out because
Yeah.
crystals just reminds me too much of the Crystal Skulls from Peep Show.
Crystal maze.
Crystal Maze.
Well, aren't crystals?
Lots of
I
things.
think people who read from, I think they're or like fortune tellers. They're pretty much in the psychic
Well,
box.
the thing
aren't
is,
they?
I don't know anything about it. If someone showed me some convincing, not even convincing evidence, because a lot of these things have evidence, but some interesting stories. I mean, we might be being ignorant again. If you have knowledge of crystal readings and you are 100% certain this is a thing,
Yeah.
tell us, because I want to hear everything.
I'm definitely not skeptical against it. It's just one of those things that's got a stigma in my head that I can't shake. Crystals just don't do it for me.
But I would say energy readings, a lot of people would say the same thing. But I found that kind of interesting when you said about
For
it.
me, though, the energy thing ties in, like, even though I didn't think about it, and I had no knowledge of it before I went to Tai Chi, everything that he said about energies and stuff like that tied in with my version of what I think reality is. Because, like, he says, like, the spaces that we can't, there's stuff that we can't see.
Right.
Yeah, so that the energy thing ties in because it's one of those things. I have my own thoughts about stuff. I am not like set on what everything is, but you know when you got like a rough idea and then someone says something from a different angle, but it ties in with what you're thinking. It's like, oh, you know how it's like what he believes is that you know the stuff we can't see, and there's these energies that we can't particularly pick up on unless we train ourselves to.
Do you think that when people have paranormal experiences, sometimes it comes under that category? They're seeing energies.
Yeah, and miracles. Stuff like that. Because I think that our brain constructs what we're seeing through like icons. We're not actually seeing reality as it is. We're seeing what our brain perceives the thing to be, so it makes it simpler for us to understand rather than all the actual what's there. So that would tie in with the energy and the miracles because
it's making my brain go fuzzy. Like, literally, as he's saying, it's making my brain
like
go
science only studies what we can see, but if we can't see everything, then science can't study what everything is. So therefore, miracles and energies can slip through the net because they can't see them. You know, they can't study what they can't perceive and understand.
That's amazing.
Our perception limits our ability to understand what's happening, doesn't it?
Why is that so funny?
Yeah, it is. That's amazing.
No, it is amazing. So I'm very aware that every story I give you has got the same ending.
Yeah, we're all gonna go. Oh.
And then change. Like it's always and that's
Well,
the
that's
way
the nature of the type of story.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the nature of particularly like healing. I'm not going to tell you the story if the ending to the story is and then nothing changed. That's not exciting.
Does that happen a lot? Obviously.
Yeah, you do get that. Like, and that's not
when it happens a lot. Well, when it happens, does everyone sort of go like, oh, like it was like someone loses a game show? Like it's in the wrong box on Deal or No Deal, and it's like, oh, like they can't see still. I'm not saying dismissively, but I'm asking and curious, like, is there like a disappointment in the air, like, oh, not this time?
Yeah, of course there is. Yeah, and yeah, I suppose it's the one thing like you don't. Like I've seen a lot of, and I personally prayed for people, and not seen them healed. And I don't have an answer for that.
Do you blame them? Like they're not worthy?
No, not at all.
Okay, good.
No,
just checking.
No, a lot of churches did, and
really?
some still do. Some say that you don't. Oh, you don't have enough faith.
Wow, really? So they will try and heal you, and if you don't heal, it's your fault.
But it's
so you go away with not only a guilt trip, but the ailment that you came in with.
It's terrible, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay.
No. Yeah, we don't. That's not. There's no theology.
When they say you've got nothing to lose, you have everything to lose.
Some churches do that, but there's no theology in it, and Jesus didn't teach it, and there's nothing in there. There's loads of times that Jesus prayed for people without any faith at all. And
Does
they
it? Do they have stories like that in the Bible? Like Jesus tried, but
no,
Jesus
I
always wins.
don't think so.
Oh.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. No, not off the top of my head.
They wouldn't report it either.
Well, I suppose they wouldn't write about it.
I think if Jesus failed, he'd always have this sort of insightful sort of like, but on the plus side, this, and they'd be like, and he'd fucking absolutely do it.
There are some. If you read through the Gospels, there are times when his disciples would ask him to pray for someone, and he'd say no.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa. Does anyone just give it out?
No, there's I like, because you caught me off guard. I don't know off the top of my head, but it does say that Jesus only did what he saw God doing.
Mm-hmm.
So he only did the things that he, I guess, felt right to do. Or
so if someone said pray for this, he'd be like, what would God do?
there's only one time where he had like someone changed his mind a bit.
Oh really?
It was when he turned water into wine. He wasn't going to do it. It's like, no, it's not the time.
No, it's not a party.
It's not
mate.
the time. And then they went, oh, go on.
I'm sober now.
Go
You went,
on.
yeah, go
Okay.
on. I'm obviously paraphrasing. That's not
Yeah.
exactly what they said.
Yeah, you put it like that.
Strong Jesus used to be cool. Jesus still cool.
Yeah, okay. Does it? The other thing I was going to ask, you say some churches will like, what was you saying that like someone's not worthy, and they'll say it said that in the Bible, and you're like, it never said that.
Yeah.
Does it irritate you when churches or people of faith say they misconstrue the Bible to suit
Oh,
what it
yeah.
means?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, people use the Bible to... You can read it to read whatever you want into it.
Yeah. Like there's
Right.
enough tales and stories in it where it's like you could make anything.
Yeah.
You can rearrange it in a way to mean anything because it's a thick old book.
Yeah, there's lots of stuff
Then
in
if you
there.
read it, it was pretty thick.
I've not read all of it.
Really?
No.
Whoa!
No.
Oh, come
I've read
on.
most of it, but not all of it.
Do you want me to cut that?
No. No, you can keep that in. Yeah, no, it's... I can't remember what we're talking about now. You've just taken me a track. Oh, yeah, when people take the Bible to read whatever they want.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's where you get people, like, you get Christians that, like, picket funerals and
Yeah,
all
well,
sorts of
yeah.
stuff.
That's-
Like,
I don't even consider them Christians.
but in the past where you've had, no, neither do I. But in the past where I've had, like, where, the Crusades, like, they went around killing hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people who weren't Christians. They took the violence that's in the Old Testament to mean that meant that God was making it okay.
Is that like the
So they've
Templars?
taken it out of the context. Huh?
Is that like the Templars? Or is that something completely
Templars.
Yeah, Templars.
The Knights Templar.
Yeah, that's like...
That's something that really interests me because in films, it's always, and in Assassin's Creed and stuff
Don't
like that.
Templars always have like the cross on them anyway?
Yeah.
I don't know. I have no idea what Templars are.
They like basically the people that went out killing in the Crusades, aren't they?
The only-
I see. Oh, right. Okay.
The only thing I know about the Templars is in films, which is probably paraphrased from books and then made really Hollywood.
In short, to answer your question about healing and people that read stuff into things, the way we do it at our church, and the way that the apostles did it, was they would like lay hands on the person they were praying for.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing in that apart from like me kind of acknowledging, and like the laying on of hands means that like the Holy Spirit and God can then bring healing to you through me,
Right.
like an electrical plug, I guess.
Yeah.
Right.
Like if you touch someone, you're being electrocuted, they're going to get electrocuted.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. But so therefore, if God is going to heal you, He's going to heal you. There's nothing you can. There's no like agenda in your head. There's no. You can't. Even if you sat there the whole time thinking this isn't going to work, that's not gonna. If God is going to do it, He's going to do it.
Mm.
So your faith has nothing to do with it.
So when you pray, is it like saying, "Hey God, turn your attention this way,"
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
and then He'll be like, "Well, I'm going to heal you, or I'm not. Let's have a look."
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I'm not sure
But
how
then why
God
would He?
works.
Yeah, this is when you don't want to be like.
I don't like the-
Sometimes He's just like, "Nah, not you,"
Yeah.
and then
I don't like the God works in mysterious ways, but I also don't like the theology of people saying, "Oh, it's obviously just not your time." Don't make
Yeah.
stuff up. If you don't have an answer, just be honest and say you don't have an answer.
I'd say I heard he moves in mysterious ways.
You
You never said why you were happy that I brought the Tai Chi up.
I don't know. Because I don't have anything else. I only know what I know.
Padding.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
Tell us another miracle.
Okay, so I'll tell you one. This is something which I didn't physically see, but I prayed for with a group of other people at this festival. We were when you're there, you've got a whole week. It's like seven or 8 days. So they have a day off in the middle of the week because there's about 1,400 people on site who work, and they need a break. So during the day off, you can go and obviously do what you want. You're close to like Western Supermare, Cheddar Gorge.
Oh, did you go up the gorge?
No, I've never been up the gorge.
No.
It's probably about a 5-minute drive to Glastonbury. It's really close to all this stuff.
Glastonbury's quite a spiritual place, though, isn't it?
Yeah, Glastonbury.
Or is that just because there's loads of hippies walking around?
Glastonbury is like, you know, in Harry Potter when wizards and witches try to dress up as muggles to look normal.
Yeah.
If you drive through Glastonbury, that's what it's like.
Okay.
People are wearing clothes. Like, how did you dress like that?
People from the 60s have decided to put on clothes now.
Yeah, it's a weird place. It's quite cool, but it is quite hippie. Anyway, so we were like, we got to the end of the day and we had like a meeting. We got called by one of the leaders of the venue, and he was like, "We need to pray. I've just heard something pretty bad. This kid who was about 13 had fallen down Cheddar Gorge and fallen 60 feet. So he's like, he's been airlifted to hospital, but let's pray because that's pretty bad." We prayed for probably about 10 minutes. Just in a group. Go on. And obviously we didn't know. We only heard through his friend who also came to the venue. His mum was like telling us this story, and his mum was obviously in the hospital with her son. So we prayed and we just like left it. Like, what else can you do? We then got news from his friend the next day that not only had he like completely survived, but he'd chipped his tooth and he had a couple of bruises down his side, but that was it.
To get the story across,
Yeah.
just explain what Cheddar Gorge is for American listeners.
Yeah. Well, also for British listeners as well. Maybe we'll get a picture of Cheddar Gorge. But it's kind of like a big quarry, I guess is the best way to explain it. It's really nice. It's really picturesque. It looks a bit like something you'd see in the Hobbit movies.
Gorge is an American word, isn't it?
I don't know.
Yeah, because in Simpsons,
Homer's off the gorge.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking at it now, and you can see how high it is. Like, we'll put it on the website, on the blog.
It's like the Grand Canyon of UK,
but much smaller. Because the Grand Canyon's massive.
It's not the Grand Canyon of the UK. If anything's that, it's like Land's End, isn't it?
Yeah. The White Cliffs of Dover.
Yeah.
So that's just the kind of, and we'll put a picture on the website, and then we even like saw him later in the week, and he was fine. So it's not very impressive to listen to, but we'll put the picture up on the website, and you guys can see.
When you said not only did he survive, it sounded like you were going to say like, not only did he survive, but he was better when he fell.
Yeah, he's got superpowers.
He can play piano now.
Not only did he survive, but he landed the helicopter.
How bored are you guys getting? I've got 2 more. Do you want me to do one more? Or...
I'm not bored. These are interesting.
It is a weaker one because I didn't see it. I feel like you guys need to actually see some of this stuff to see what I mean.
I do.
How bad is your back pain? Do you get it all the time?
Yeah.
Can you feel it now?
On my right side. Yeah, that hurts. That hurts a lot. You get clicking them.
Yeah, you can see it.
That hurts like all the time.
Yeah.
That's all the time.
Huh. I could probably pray for it.
He's going to heal me. He was just saying that he feels like we need to see a miracle in real life. We need to see like healing.
I would say, as far as belief goes, I disbelieve these things as much as I believe them. Which is to say, they kind of cancel each other out. I don't.
It's hard to have an opinion on something that you have like no experience of.
Yeah, that's what I mean with your Tai Chi.
Yeah,
I don't not believe it, but I don't. It's like I'm completely neutral. I don't find it boring, but I find it more. I might find it much more interesting than I find it boring. So I'm not neutral in that respect, but I'm neutral in that I don't have any experience of it.
Yeah, yeah.
And your opinion is the same, but the other way.
Yeah, yeah.
And my opinion is the same towards like both. I know nothing about either. Both interesting, but it's not like I believe or I don't. I'm just like I have no experience of either world.
But I'm not the kind of person to
I feel
just
like I need to bring up
like you know, you meet people that are just like, no, don't believe that straight away, and it's just like, open-mindedness and all that.
You've got to be open-minded.
It's silly to say you don't believe in something straight away, because then how silly do you look later on if you actually come around to it?
I think that's, if anything's teaching me anything in my studying, it's to be open-minded. Anyway, shall I give you another one?
Yeah, all right.
Sock it to me, maybe.
I'm going to give you one more that I witnessed myself.
Okay.
Now, obviously, we get loads of teenagers in the venue, which means we get lots of teenage girls. So I ended up praying with this one girl, with my wife and a couple of other people. It was quite sensitive, and like she'd been self-harming,
right?
And she'd been doing it for a couple of years, and she ended up with scars just all the way down her forearms. Like if she when she got her forearms out, it was like looking at like checkered paper, you know, like the old maths textbook paper. Like it was like that. It was just all the way. It was quite harrowing to what and like fair play to her for doing it, because it was quite tough to see. And she was just like, obviously the trauma was inside, and she's like, it's like emotional trauma for years of like, and she's like, I just want them gone now. I can't. She's like, I can't stand looking at them, because it's like a constant reminder.
Yeah, exactly.
Of what I've done.
You can't move on if you're constantly looking. You constantly can see that.
Yeah, and you can. And she was looking at it, and you could tell she was upset. And she's like, I just want to get rid of it. I can't. She's like, I feel like I'm ready to move on. I haven't self-harmed for like a year now, but I just feel like I can't do it. And she just had all these scars down her arms. And she's like, I don't know if this is something that God does. I don't know if this is something we can do, but I want to get rid of these scars. So it's like, again, it was stuff that, like, okay, you know, and I'm just, in my head, I'm just being obedient to what I believe and what I feel.
Because that's a bit different. If you've got people coming like, you know, I can't see, I've got like a weird lump, whatever. Yeah. You don't normally get people saying like, oh, I've got a scar. Can you get rid of my scar?
Yeah, it's and in my head, and from where I am, in my faith, like my faith is that I obviously have a faith in something I can't see, which is ridiculous in itself. That's weird in itself. I have faith in a God that I can't see. So the only way I can prove it to you, or God can prove Himself to be around, is if like there's physical healing. So we prayed for her. Again, it must have been about 3 or 4 of us, and as we were stood there, like we watched them disappear. It was like her skin. It was almost like her skin dissolved, and it like lowered, because obviously they were raised bumps on her arms where her scars had been there, and it was like they melted back into her skin, like almost like wax, like smoothing it out. It was really strange.
I would love to come to one of these. Is it festivals? Definitely, I'd love to do that.
Oh, anything we talk about, like I want to experience first.
I'm going to another one on Saturday. This is a youth one there'll be about 12,000 teenagers there.
We were saying
12,000.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Whoa. That's more than our listenership.
Yeah. Well.
We're nearly there.
You know, we were talking about it before we started recording, about possibly getting a portable recorder for the podcast, but that's the exact sort of thing where I'd want to go and do like a field recording.
Definitely, I'd love to go.
Anything like that, like when we talked about
I'm working
like haunted buildings or the Overton Bridge. I don't know what we're gonna do at the Overton Bridge.
Take a dog.
Find a dog that we don't like.
But you know what I mean.
God.
Cut that.
No,
a hot dog.
Chuck a hot dog off.
Symbolic.
It's leaping out the burner and trying to eat it.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be freaky. What if it actually happened though? It went. flipped out and went down.
Chucked it back when it said sorry, wrong dog.
Yeah.
Sorry, wrong dog.
Cut.
Keep that in.
In all seriousness, yeah, I'd love for us to do some field recordings.
Definitely. I'd love to do that.
Would you guys?
I'd love to be a party.
Go to
this
Stratford
would be
upon
tricky.
Avon, stay in the haunted hotel.
Oh no! I was going to mention something, but we can't do that.
Well, go on.
Well, I was going to say, next week I know there'll be times where I'll probably be praying for people for healing of some kind, but I'd have to film it, which would mean getting their permission and all sorts of stuff.
Well, wait.
But
Where's that?
I could report back to you.
Why don't we
if
come? Can we go?
I want to come. I want to come to one of these festivals for sure.
You could do like they do week like day passes. I don't know how much they are.
Doesn't matter.
It's for the pod, mate. It doesn't matter.
Not even for the pod, just for my own life experience.
Well, I want to
I'd love see
experience
this.
everything.
It's kind
I
of
want to hear everyone's experiences, and I want to experience as much as I can
definitely.
with a portable recorder.
Yeah, it's like I think for me, like with this particular subject, you guys need to see something. Like it's like you can, and you probably believe me more than you believe like just like reading a story on the internet because you know me. But I can only tell you what I witnessed. I can't, and you weren't there, so you have to take my word for it.
That goes for anything, though. I believe someone I know to be, like you guys,
It's like if
anything more than someone on the internet.
Any weird tale and the unexplainable.
Yeah.
If I told you a ghost story, if I said I saw a ghost, it was like this, you'd believe that at least believe that I believed what I saw, and I saw something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't believe that you guys have any sort of what's the word?
Need
or agenda
Yeah.
to make these things up.
Like with any of these stories, all of these things make me sound like a lunatic. So why would I make it up?
Yeah, exactly.
Like there's nothing for me to gain from telling you these stories.
Yeah.
So yeah, why would I make it up?
Exactly.
So that's it. That's the stuff I've kind of experienced.
Sorry, I'm literally just repeating what you said. I was about to say I would love to come experience it because I was just thinking about it again.
Definitely.
Yeah, I would love to experience that. Not experience the miracle on myself because I feel like there's people in way more need than me. But just like witness someone going through that experience.
I'd watch be a fly on the wall.
Or tape or audio recorder on the wall.
Because I don't just believe it at all. Obviously, but it's just I'd love to see it.
Is this crass? I was going to say if anyone would like to hear us do some outside recording, I mean we do this show out of our own pocket, and it actually is costing us to host it now, which we don't mind. I mean I love doing it, I love hearing, but if you do want to donate anything to the pod, if you go on our Podomatic page, there is a donate button. What is it? Unexplainable.podomatic.com.
Yeah.
If you go on there, it says donate now on the right hand side, and that goes straight to us. And anything we get through that will go to like more stuff. We need a new mic stand. We need a new mic. We've already bought an interface. We're paying for bandwidth. We want to get an outside audio recorder, and the more we can get, the better stuff we can do on the pod. So don't like asking for money or anything, but if you enjoy the show and want to chuck something our way to help us make it better, obviously we really appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely.
Is that too crass?
Good shout. No, not at all.
No.
So that stuff I've witnessed.
Mm-hmm.
There's quite a lot more, so I had to just handpick ones that meant a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I've now got a couple of videos,
Right.
which one of them is insane. One of them is amazing. The other one, I'll let you come to your own conclusion.
Okay.
But they're both videos of something that's like been caught on CCTV, which is unbelievable. You know, I was talking to you at the start of the pod here about stuff that people would describe as being a miracle because it looks like unbelievably good luck.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first video, and for those listening, we'll put these videos up on the Blogspot page afterwards.
Yeah, the blog is all one word, Weird Tales and the Unexplainable.blogspot.com. If you go on there, I do a companion post for every episode we record, anything we talk about, or any video we watch, any picture. It all goes on the blog, so there's a companion to each episode, and I update that every time there's a new episode up. So I'll put these videos on there.
This is the first video. It's quite short.
What is this a video of?
This is a video of what looks like a boy and his mother, and they're walking along just like a fairly average street.
Okay.
I don't know where it is, but it looks like they drive on the right-hand side, so it could be America.
Okay.
And so here we go.
Whoa! Whoa! Whoa!
Could you play it again?
Yeah.
Could get straight up.
Tis, explain what you just saw.
So a oncoming car hits a parked car on the side of the road, and two people are walking on the road, and as the car hits the parked car obviously swings back towards the people. They move onto the sidewalk, but the car still swings around and gets the kid worse, actually. I think the wheel goes over the kid's head.
Yeah.
The second wheel. And the woman's legs get caught under both wheels. The kid gets up almost instantly. And I think the woman's alright as well. She's just a bit more...
Yeah, at the end of the video, the kid walks over to his mum, and she moves her head up, and you can still...
Oh, yeah, I can see her, yeah.
Yeah, she looks fine, but just as though she kind of... A bit more space than the kid. The kid gets straight up.
In my opinion...
Yeah.
That kid should be dead.
Yeah.
Like, if you can see the way his head moves around.
Yeah.
To me, it's amazing that kid is still alive.
Mm-hmm.
And not even... He gets straight up.
Yeah.
When Tis said he gets straight up, like, I mean, he...
It's literally instantly, isn't it? So
quicker than I would get if I, like, just give my knee on the stairs.
Yeah. So he's gone under, his legs have gone under the back wheel, and now his head's gone under... So his legs are there broken. His head would probably be splattered all over the pavement.
The second wheel actually goes over his neck, and then his head. So it's not even like it gets the top of his head. So his head could go under. His neck and his body, his head and his body are between the wheel and the car. So it's like his neck would have just been like broken. I would have thought.
Yeah.
How much does a car weigh? Like a ton?
Yeah, a ton and a half.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
And I would say the mum
a kid's neck.
Yeah, he would almost certainly be dead. And she would probably have both her legs broken. Having said that, in the video it doesn't show her getting up, so maybe her legs were broken and she didn't get up. But the kid is extremely fortunate. So,
can we just watch that one more time? God,
it's not the best quality, but you can see clearly what happens.
See, I was seeing if the car isn't even being lifted up when it gets over the kid's head. I was thinking maybe the other wheel was up because of the woman, but it's not. The full weight of the car goes over the kid's head before it goes over the legs. Crazy. That is nuts.
I'll show you the second video.
Let's do it.
This one.
Unexplainable.
That is unexplainable.
Okay, so what's this one?
This one is actually, it's quite similar, but somehow quite different. So you've got like an intersection. I don't know where it is. But there's oncoming traffic from 4 different directions. Again, it's a CCTV camera. And any minute now, there should be a car coming down.
Oh, yeah.
And it looks as if... Yeah.
What, play that again?
Yeah. You have to like...
What's this dude back here?
This guy is the guy who nearly got hit.
Yeah.
He looks like he's on the sidewalk just like, oh my god, what happened?
And this guy gets out of his truck and he walks off quite quick. But he starts to like disappear a bit, like...
Ah, okay.
So it's like he teleports him.
That's nuts.
No, I don't know. I don't know how easy it would be
I thought that dude, the one with the black hoodie, I thought he was in the thing originally.
I couldn't...
At fast speed, you can't really tell.
You see what I mean? After this, I don't know if it's too dark. He just disappears. And he's sitting there like, what's just happened?
Just in shock.
That one to me, the second one, is a bit more... I don't know how someone could maybe put that video together. But I don't know why you would. Strange, right?
Yeah, this is what you were saying earlier when you like hear or see something. It's like, when you think about that and you're like, there's like nothing to say. Yeah, wow, they're weird. I'm going to put them videos on the blog. Obviously, I'll edit out all that silence of us watching.
Yeah.
So what I'll do is I'll put the 2 videos that Beef just showed us on the blog and view them for yourself and yeah.
Make of it what you
Make
will.
of it what you will.
Crazy.
I just need...
So, I've got one final one before we come to our weekly feature.
This is Scott's.
Yeah, so this
Yeah,
is
right.
one of Tiss's friends. Gave this to Tiss a couple of weeks ago.
Okay, how do you know this guy, Tiss?
He was in a band with my brother up north.
Okay.
But I know him pretty well. Lives in London.
Okay.
Very genuine guy. No reason to make up stories at all. So this story is like, for me, it's just like, wow. Because, yeah.
Okay.
It couldn't have come from a more genuine source, in my opinion.
And again, it's like we said earlier, having read the story already, I don't know why you'd bother to make something up so crazy.
Yeah, it's way out there for creativity if you're going to make this up, in my opinion.
It's amazing.
Is he spiritual at all?
Scott, I don't think so.
Right. Okay.
What about his dad? Obviously, we'll come to
his dad is a little
His
bit.
dad is a little bit.
Oh,
I
hang
think so,
on.
maybe.
Go on then.
Alright.
Okay.
So I'm just going to read this out,
Yeah.
and then we'll go from there.
Okay.
So, this was told to me by a good friend whose storytelling capabilities far outstripped my own, but I'd like to share it and see if anyone has any answers that we hadn't thought of. It kept me awake the night he told it. It begins with his dad, a financial advisor who lives and works on a super nice bit of farmland just outside of Belfast in Northern Ireland. He wakes abruptly one Wednesday morning on the wrong side of 5 a.m, as farm folks often do. Crossing the hall on his way to the bathroom, he noticed from the upstairs window that one of his horses had escaped its enclosure in the night and was currently breakfasting on his pristine front lawn. This was not a big deal in itself. His horses have escaped from time to time in the past, finding a gap in the fence to squeeze through every 6 months or so. But fond as he is of having a lawn without hoof-shaped holes taken out of it, he always removes the offending steed as soon as he can. Pulling on jeans and coat, he stepped out into the brisk, half-lit morning air to return the equine fugitive to its enclosure. By now, fully awake, he made his way back to the garden to inspect the damage to his lawn. Scanning the area the hungry beast had been nibbling on, his eyes rested upon a crisp, clean, neatly folded Northern Irish £10 note that was nestled in one of the many hoof prints dotted about the grass. Having been out in his garden the lovely evening before, the mystery tenor must have appeared overnight. Slightly puzzled, he returns to the horse and started preparing himself for the day's work at the Home Office. His two staff arrived later that morning, and he tells them the funny story of the magical horse tenor. None of them could explain, as the farm is the middle of nowhere and nearly half a mile from nearby country road. Resigned to thinking it was just a lucky wind that perhaps blew the magic tenor into the hoof print in his yard, he let the matter rest and kept the tenor for good luck. Until the following Monday morning, that is, as he made his way out to exercise the horses at around 8 a.m, he happened to glance over into the same area of lawn and saw this. And there's some photos which we'll get up. And the photo, just for listeners, you can see the garden or the yard, and there's holes all over the yard. And in about 4 or 5 of the holes, you can't tell because the picture's not close up on this one, but they're like neatly folded pieces of paper.
Yeah, it's about 1, 2, 3, 4. So that was one as well.
Yeah,
5.
I'd say maybe that one.
Maybe, I don't know if there's any further back. Yeah.
If I go on to next one.
Oh yeah.
So you can see more. Now on this one you can see a bit more detail, and that one you can tell looks like a detailed piece of paper.
Mm-hmm.
You can't tell that it looks like money, but it doesn't look like plain paper to me, and neither does that one. and then I think this one's a bit closer. I wish he'd have got closer.
You can see that's money. It's got the outline.
It looks like a £20 note to me. Yeah, these are clearer.
Yeah, you can definitely see. Yeah.
And I don't really know what Northern Irish £10 notes look like, but that apparently. Tis, are there any other? Oh, there's more. Okay.
Full album.
So we're looking at lots of pictures of hoof prints with various denominations of Irish currency in them. £10 and £20 notes by the looks of it.
Yeah. So they're much clearer. So we'll put that
and
on.
And that's the collective.
Website.
That's all of the money.
That's all the money.
That's all the money there.
So if I read the last bit, that Monday morning he found a total of £130 to add to the £10 he found the previous week. For the mathematically challenged out there, a total of £140 had somehow found its way into hoof prints on his lawn. All folded, all clean, all relatively normal looking. And then he's put I'm a relatively sceptical fella, and I'm sure there is an explanation for this, though I haven't settled on what it might be. Though I'm pretty sure we can rule out drug dealing horses getting sloppy with their loot. I like that. And then just a bit more background to the story. At this time, my dad had some concerns as business was very slow from the economy. Being religious, he'd been praying for things to get better, and it was around this time the money appeared. My dad had exhausted every possibility, and there are a few, of how it got there. On 2 occasions, both times in the hoof prints on the garden, and there is no explanation. The house is half a mile up a country lane on top of a hill. The countryside, no one ever walks in it. This might sound silly, but my dad genuinely believes it was a sign from an angel to say not to worry and things will get better. Not necessarily that an angel came and physically placed it there, but however it ended up there, it was guided. Business started picking up again soon after that also, and is really good now.
That's really strange.
Yeah.
That is odd, isn't it?
Yeah. Cool story.
I knew you'd like that one, Bob.
Yeah, that's a cool story.
Very interesting.
When you told me that and you showed me the pictures of that.
A few weeks ago now, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a few weeks ago.
I've been hiding it from
kind
you
of
guys.
Yeah.
We wanted someone to hear it for the first time.
Okay.
As well as the listeners.
But when you told me, I must admit, as I was going through it, I wasn't particularly. I was like, oh, okay, and then when I saw the pictures at the end of the money on the table, it was really amazing. And then that last little bit with the background,
I feel that last little paragraph adds more to it. Yeah. Wow.
So
there we go. I don't know. I wouldn't know what to make of that. But if there is an angel out there somewhere who wants to give me 140 quid.
But the weird thing is that it's in the middle of nowhere. It's similar to where your mum lives,
like
Cumbria. It's like there's no one that would sort of, if you're going to play a practical joke, it's miles to travel to do it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So.
But it's like, to me, when I think of it, it's so weird. Like, if it was someone doing it, then or if it was someone who knew that they were in financial problems and just felt a bit like compassionate, you just put the money in an envelope, like anonymously, don't write anything on it, and just put it through the door.
I wouldn't leave it in a field for it to blow away.
No.
Exactly. And
but also, if it was, like he says, like an angel, then it's almost like they would know that it would get him outside if the horse escaped its enclosure and was all over the lawn. I don't know.
It's almost like it makes it look like a natural event rather than money appearing in his house. That's very strange. Wow.
Yeah. I like that. Thank you for showing me that. And
thank you for Scott for sharing it with us.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks, Scott. Big shout out to Scott.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that kind of wraps up all my stuff, my tales of miracles. There's so much more. And if you guys, I know we mentioned it a few weeks ago, and I don't think we've had anything or much, but if you guys have anything like on the back of me telling you these stories, then please get in touch.
Yes.
What's the email?
Unexplainableuk@mail.com, and we'll just say the next few shows that are coming up because we always want to hear your stories on them. Next time Tis is doing sleep paralysis.
Yeah. And
we've already had a few people contact us about sleep paralysis. That's been a popular topic that we've mentioned. So if you've got more, send them our way. We're very interested. And after that, I'm doing haunted houses, experiences with people who feel like they've lived in a haunted house and why they thought they had experiences within it. And then after that, what's your next show after this one?
I'm going to do a show on demon possession.
Oh, demon possession. So that's quite a heavy topic.
Yeah, it's quite an intense one.
Yeah.
I've got to just forewarn you guys and listeners. Some of the stories I've got are like throwing you in the deep end a bit.
Yeah, that's going to make people come back.
Yeah.
That's like, oh, I warn you, you're not going to like it. Oh, I'll show you.
Why, Ayana?
Yeah.
That makes me anticipate it.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so I really enjoyed these stories tonight. Thanks, man.
Good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Are you storied out?
Yeah. Do we want to crack on to...
It's that time of the pod again.
Here we go. It's Ghost Story of the Week. Ghost Story of the Week.
This was sent to me on Reddit. This is about a month ago now. Someone sent me this, but it's quite a short one. But it's similar to one I told recently. My mum died when I was 6. In the middle of the night, I heard her voice call me into the hallway. I ran out to see her sitting in a chair that she always sat in because she was very sick with chemo treatments. She told me she was fine and everything would be okay and to go back to sleep. I would have dismissed it as a dream if the next morning my uncle and his daughter, who were very close to my mum, reported seeing her in their house in the exact same fashion at the same time. And now to this day when I tell people about her, that night in bed I feel a presence in the room with me. However, it's a comfortable and friendly presence and I really can't deny it when it happens so often.
Wow.
So, I was going to do a show about this, and I still might, because there's so many stories I've heard where people, it's a similar thing, like someone will pass on, and then multiple people will experience the same thing at the same time on the same night as a message from that person. I don't know if it would be considered a ghost story.
No, I wouldn't call that a ghost
But
story.
it's,
Because ghost story have like an element of fear.
yeah, this isn't an element of fear. That's what's different about this one. But I thought I'd share it anyway, because I wanted to share it weeks ago, but couldn't find a way to share it, and I was like, well, I'll just tell it on Ghost Story of the Week.
Awesome.
So that's something to think about. Would you feel comforted by that?
I don't know, it's difficult to try and put myself in his shoes or her shoes, whoever it was.
The thing that always interests me about tales like that is they always seem to say, oh, it's a comforting feeling. Like, if something like that happened to you, even if it was a family member, I still feel like I would be scared. But it's the element of, like, I wasn't scared, I just felt comfortable. Like, that's almost more strange to me. Like, something can happen that just gives you an immediate feeling of comfort, even though it's completely, like, strange and unexplainable. We talked about before how people are scared of the unknown.
Yeah.
And that is the unknown. But whenever people report that sort of story, they always say, oh, I felt comforted. And that's the weirdest part of the story to me, to experience something so unknown, but we can feel instantly completely comfortable about it.
Yeah.
At first, though, I'm thinking I'd be scared if it was someone else's mum, but if it was my mum, totally.
And you feel comfortable?
Yeah, totally. Because it's, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you'd if it was your mum, you'd really miss her, and you'd feel a void, wouldn't you? You'd feel a void in your life, and I suppose that would bring you comfort to be able to. Because people say that, don't they? When they're, I've got a friend whose dad just died, and he was like, I just wish I could have like just one more minute, or just have one more conversation. So I guess that would bring you a lot of comfort, and as long as it's not like a overwhelming presence.
Do you think if you experienced something like that, you would take it as like proof of an afterlife? If it's someone you knew so close and they're there and it's a comforting feeling, you're like, they're still around.
Yeah, I guess.
Because if it's someone you know, like if it's just a figure of a man, there's a million ways to explain it away. If it's evidently someone that you've known close to you that's passed, that's not just seeing a figure of a man, that's seeing someone you knew.
So wait, what do you mean? So seeing someone you love would prove afterlife, you say?
Yeah, would not would you think to you that would make you think there is an afterlife? Because I've seen someone I actually knew.
What if you already believe in an afterlife?
Would it confirm it for you? Do you think that would?
It would just, I think for most people that would believe in it, it would just tie into their belief of afterlife. If that makes sense. It wouldn't change anything. It would just, you'd rationalise
like
it.
there would be, of course.
Yeah.
Like they don't need it confirmed.
Yeah,
they don't need it proven. They're just like, well, of course.
I think everyone though would rationalise that kind of thing in their own way anyway.
It would fit into your.
Even if you don't believe in afterlife, you could rationalise it as maybe it's like your brain projecting this memory, but because you're it's like a trauma because it's like a trauma.
If it was the same memory, like
yeah,
in the chair and.
But it's like you're permanently getting this chemical reaction which you felt around your mum or whatever happening sporadically.
Because it's like your brain comforting yourself.
Yeah.
Like you're going, it'll be okay.
Yeah.
But how do you explain then that other people experiencing the same thing?
Yeah.
What? Well, coincidence maybe. I'm not saying.
Very strange.
I'm just saying that's a explanation.
Very strange.
I think anyone can rationalise anything anyway. People find ways to rationalise things, don't they?
Yeah.
Even skeptics. That's why they're skeptics.
So, next time you're doing sleep paralysis.
I know. I feel like, right, and this may sound overreactive, but it's like, you know how Heath Ledger did the Joker research and stuff like that? I feel like this sleep paralysis, I'm going to delve into it and I'm going to get sleep paralysis or something.
Oh, really?
I'm so scared. Every time I go to watch a video, I'm just like, oh God, do I want to open up this can of worms?
I can't wait, because I know next to nothing about sleep paralysis.
I know a little
and
bit.
I'm looking into it, not at all.
Yeah, I don't know much. I know, like, I watched a documentary a few years ago about people who have, like, murdered people in their sleep. Or just that, like, crazy sleepwalking. And then there was, like, a little bit at the end on sleep paralysis. That's all I know is... And then when you mentioned about the woman, that I knew that because this was in this story. So it sounds horrible.
Well, I know nothing about it, so I'm going to need you to come up with a good explanation for it at the beginning of the next show.
Yeah, definitely.
Obviously you're going to do that.
A good explanation of what it is.
Yeah.
Or what I think it is.
Both.
Ooh.
And we have some good stories from people for next week.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Well, fingers crossed we can get someone on the pod to talk about their experience with sleep paralysis.
That'd be awesome.
My friend Richie mildly suffers with it, so I'm going to get a little bit of a story from him anyway.
So yeah, sleep paralysis, haunted houses, demonic possession. Send your stories, or any story you've got, unexplainableuk@mail.com.
Can I just drop this one out as well? In a few episodes I might be doing the psychedelic experience. If anyone has had an extreme psychedelic experience they couldn't explain, or using psychedelics, something like that, just a weird story of maybe a trip report that's interesting, email
anything basically. And again, the blog Weird Tales, the unexplainable.blogspot.com. Check the companion post for that, and if you want to donate to the pod, send me an email, or I think there's a donate here button on the Podomatic page.
Yeah.
So we're done?
We're done. Until next time.
You should be thinking about it during the
I know, I was trying to think of something.
I thought it was just until next time.
I've honestly been trying to think of one for the last hour and a half. Until next time.
I believe in miracles. Your sex thing.
I believe